YouTube family, today you're in for a special treat. So today you guys are gonna get some of the clips of the groundbreaking for one of the first courtyard projects in the city of Houston that we have designed under the city's new rules, the Livable Places Ordinance. We're calling this project the Texas Tiny Houses. This is a collection of 9 houses that range from about 950 to 960 square feet. They're all 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I think 3 of them are like 1.5 baths. But the beautiful thing about this project is all of these units will be sold for under $300,000, which is a very difficult price point to meet in the city. We're in the greater 5th Ward, which is about 5 minutes from downtown. So today you're going to witness the groundbreaking. Of course, Middle Housing Design Co., we designed this project. The developer on this project is Andre's team with Yes to Real Estate. You'll get to see all of the people who are a part of the project, and we're going to, give you guys a tour and everything about the project. And this will be another playlist, so we'll follow along this project throughout the construction process and show you guys what we're doing. These rules that allow us to build courtyard projects are brand new. The city just passed this in November 2023. So this is the first approved project through the city. We're hoping to find more land and do more of these. We think this can be a great solution for the affordability crisis by allowing us to build true starter homes that allow people to build equity. And if they want to sell and trade up to larger homes, they have that ability because now they have that equity to get there. So stay tuned and let's get this one going. So the idea for this community came from, the whole micro-housing, tiny housing idea. Typically, most tiny houses are usually under 500 square feet, but we live in Texas, and everything is bigger in Texas. So since we were building houses that were around 950 to 960 square feet, we decided to call them Texas tiny houses because by Texas standards, that is small. And, honestly, be honest, to keep it 100 with you, Texans ain't really gonna live in houses that are less than 500 square feet. It's really, the housing here is pretty cheap, and the amount of square footage that you can get for roughly the price that some of these guys charge for these smaller homes, makes it just infeasible to build them that small. So that's where the name Texas Tiny Houses came from.
Opening of the first ever tiny home courtyard division here in Houston. Yeah. 350 homes. All right, Greg, what about you, Greg?
So we got 40 houses right now, but we're on the road to do about 100 in 3 different communities.
So 100 homes. All right. Lewis, what about you?
I just started, not that big yet.
I'm going somewhere with
We're
Lewis.
actually been in 3 duplexes right now to show driving project.
So 3 duplexes.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's give Lewis a hand clap. Quan, what about you, Quan?
I got one.
One duplex. All right. Just trying to help him build his brand to go to the next level.
Success in this business is all about building lasting relationships.
Even before him coming to Brooks and Davis, Andre had his name, and he had his brand, and he was making us real proud about what he's doing with, in the community. He's definitely
And I remember that I used to see my mom shoot drugs and then wake up to go to school. And I used to go to school and the kids used to make fun of me because my mom was on drugs. So imagine going to school, everybody knew your mom was on drugs, and then coming home and seeing your mom do drugs. So if you look at the odds was against me, right? For us to be successful, it was against us. And my wife and I, we've been friends since, what's that, Joe? Second grade? First grade? I've been having a crush on her since then too, right? I didn't get no play back in elementary school or middle school, but yeah, or high school. But I remember in school, my teacher looked right at me, the way you guys are looking at me now. He looked at me, standing over me, and said, "Andre, you would never amount to anything." I'm a kid. Dr. James, when you being a superintendent, right, you understand how crucial it is to speak life into your students, right? So he told me that, and guess what, everyone? I began to live out what he spoke into my life. So when he said I wasn't going to be anything, guess what? I began to act up more. I began to cut up more. And I began to live out what he spoke into my life, right? And that went on for years. My mom finally got clean. We moved to A-Leaf Hastings on the Southwest, and I met my youth pastor, Pastor Mike. And Pastor Mike said something so profound that changed the trajectory of my life. He said, "Andre, for God knows the plans that I have for you. Plans for you to prosper and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future." And when he spoke that into my life, I instantly began to live it out. And I remember talking to my youth pastor, Pastor Mike, and I said, "Pastor, how do God have a plan for me when I don't even know and have a plan for myself?" But as soon as I began to read that word in the Bible, I began to live out that word. And I am here today, and Madam President Courtney Johnson Rose actually sold Langston Elementary. Yes, yes. That same school where that teacher spoke negatively in my life, Dr. Courtney Johnson Rose actually sold that commercial building, right? And as we build this property here, you will be able to look out the window from here and see that school. That same school to where my life was on a road of nowhere, of where that teacher spoke that into my life. Now we are living out what my pastor spoke. And I'm here to let you know this morning, whatever it might be, whatever journey that you might be on this morning, you looking to build 200 homes, 100 homes, 30 homes, your first commercial building, right? Or your first duplex, or your first home, whatever it might be. When everyone is against you, I want you to understand that if you believe, if you live by the principles of the word, and if you walk it and continue to put in the work, I am a testimony that you can win and you can succeed. So, thank you so much. I would love for the people to, you do your speech and kind of give us the whole premise of what we have here.
So first off, thank you, Andre. I thank the Lord for the opportunity to be here, ordering our steps and allowing us the privilege to be able to do projects like this. 2022, Andre bought me this lot, and we had originally planned to put like 9 townhouses on it, but we were gonna have to sell them in like the low 4s to mid 4s, and we felt like that was kind of high for the area. Then I got whiff from the planning department that there was an ordinance coming that was going to create different options for us to play with in the development game. So they were going to create rules that were finally going to allow us to build multi-unit properties like triplexes and quadplexes, but they were also going to allow us to do something called courtyard development. If you've been to places like LA, I think New York has some, but a lot of places on the West Coast have a lot of these smaller clusters of homes around green spaces that were built in like pre-World War II. Because after World War II is where everything kind of just ended up being either single family homes or large apartment blocks. Andre bought me this lot. I said, hold on, Dre, I think we could do something that'll be better for the community. When we finally went to a couple of the city meetings and sat down and figured out what the rules were, we drafted up a couple of different options and figured out like what we could do. Once the ordinance was passed, we got with the legend Nahom and started working on the replat. Went back and forth with the city on all the little nuances and all the little infrastructure design manual rules, figured out how to create this project. Now, if you followed my company, you know my slogan, right? Y'all know it, say it with me. The hood is what we make it. that was born from a song that I heard from a local artist named Bizzle. He said, the hood may not be what we make it, but it's what we keep it. Projects like this allow us to come in and not allow vacant lots like you see all around us, or vacant houses, to stay in the community. We have the opportunity to develop and create projects like this and offer them at prices that, you know, don't speed up the gentrification in the area. Because if you're developing, you're going to increase the property value in the community, but you can control how much you increase it, because we could have built $500,000 houses here, but we chose to build $250,000 houses here and allow that opportunity for more people in the community to have that opportunity. My baby is not happy right now. That's, you know, the premise behind the whole project. You know, just thankful to the city of Houston and to everybody for coming out. I hope you guys follow along on the progress. You see my man recording me. It's gonna be on YouTube, so you go on our YouTube channel, it's gonna be a whole playlist dedicated to this project, like we did with our previous project, the Bill Street Brownstones, and we'll be doing videos talking about it.
I want to say thank you for everything that you have done, because it took a lot for you to see this and to share it, right? Because you could have said, hey, you know what, I want to be the first, right? And I'm gonna keep this to myself and then wait for me to have something, and then, so why didn't you do that?
I don't know.
Right?
I guess it's not my nature. You know, I was looking for a lot. Andre had one. I said, cool, we can create this project here. You know, it's the same thing with any of our projects. If you bring me a lot and I think we could do something on it, you know, I don't care if you build the project. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, if we get it out there and we get it in the community, there'll be more projects to come. You know, the city has been concerned that there haven't been a lot of courtyard projects coming through. I say, well, they just need somebody to come and build one. So we gonna build it. And, you know, with Andre's success, we believe that more people will come in and take advantage of the rules and go from there. I think the main thing, you know, most people ask, who wants to buy a 900 square foot house or a 2-bedroom house? And I like to point to the fact that in our apartment buildings, they have mostly what? 1 and 2 bedroom units. So they got someplace to stay. They got to stay someplace. We could convince them to say, hey, instead of living in a 400 unit apartment building, how about you come live in this 9-unit courtyard development where you have your own private space, where you're not fighting for parking spaces with everybody else in that whole parking garage. And if you got a big truck, you can park it here. We're standing in the parking area of the development. Behind us would be the courtyard in the middle, and there'll be 6 units here, and then there'll be 3 units that face the street. You know, before 2007, when Steve Jobs was creating the iPhone, his competitors told him that it was stupid, that nobody would want a phone without buttons. And now all of us are standing here with phones without buttons. People told Elon Musk that nobody wanted to buy electric cars because electric cars not sexy. But I seen somebody drive up in a Tesla earlier. So at the end of the day, you know, just because something doesn't exist in the market today doesn't mean that there isn't a demand for it. People just haven't seen it yet. Yeah, common area maintenance agreement. Yeah, they maintain the courtyard and the parking area and all of the underground drainage systems.
Does that change the detention requirements when you go
So,
to your standard?
since we were under the 65%, I think we were only at like 60% on the lot coverage, we didn't have to do detention. We just have to have an underground drainage system. Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about the courtyard projects. Most of them, because you're required to have that green space, most of them you end up being under the impervious cover because you're maintaining enough green space on the site. Yeah, if we'd have put the 9 larger townhouses, we was gonna have to do detention. It was just gonna be an expensive development. Yeah.
I think we say, what, 125,000 by not
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah.
You say more than that because you build smaller homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you,
That thing
Garland.
does not want to stay up.
So Nahom, let the millions of people who's watching and listening right now know a little bit about what's going on and the challenges with this project and how were you guys able to bring this to fruition?
Yeah, so I really want to harp on just how much developers actually go through when they're trying to accomplish a project. So a lot of times, so I'm very pro developer or pro free market capitalism. I believe people like Andre, the other developers here, are what drive cities, drive communities, drive the economic impact of cities. So with this project, the city came up with something basically to get more density in the city and urban infill lots without pretty much the whole country. The problem that the city has is they can come up with all the rules they want, but it takes a developer to risk their capital, time, and all the resources they have. That is kind of where I want to highlight with Mosa and Andre. As Garland mentioned, the city came up with these rules probably 3 years ago. They have been talking about these things for a long time, but a lot of times they don't understand the economic impacts that it has, so it takes a while for it to flush through the system. So I've been hearing about this for about 3-4 years, and I really, to be honest, I didn't have faith in the city to get it approved because there's so many different stakeholders who have different ideas of what they want to accomplish. Andre has been hitting me up about this for about a year. So every time he texts me about it, I tell him, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm not saying that because I don't want it to happen. I just understand how the city works. Sometimes the rules that they publish are very gray. So they don't really explain how to get something done from A to Z. And that's what causes a lot of pain points for builders, is because when you allocate capital and resources to a project and you don't know how to get it accomplished, that's how things die. So being my friend, I didn't want him to be the first one to put his capital at risk. So when Garland mentioned this project and brought it to me, the first thing I did is I went and spoke to the planning director. I told her, if I'm gonna let him do this, do not waste his time and do not waste his resources. And she assured me that she wasn't. So then I reached out back to Garland and Andre and Mosa, and I told them we can do it. About 3 months later, they officially passed the rule. So for these initiatives to be enacted, it has to go through what's called a planning commission, which is a small governmental body that actually oversees all development in the city of Houston. And then it goes to city council. So before it was passed, it kind of ping-ponged between them for about 3-4 months. And it finally approved. And once me and Garland kind of put our heads together, we pretty much, there's a lot of things that we did behind the scenes, but pretty much it's more a testament to Andre, is because during the whole time, there was times I didn't think it would be approved, but he never lost faith and he never lost his enthusiasm. And that's kind of what propels a lot of my work and Garland's work, is because it's a lot of hitting your head against the wall, speaking to the city, sometimes not getting an email back in 3 weeks, and having to go up there in the mornings and speak to them, because a lot of times they don't have their rules fleshed out. But it's people like me and Garland having to explain to them that we have capital at risk. So you have to conduct yourself in a manner that gives us a timeline to work on. So that's pretty much the crux of it. So with this project, it is the first one. Andre doesn't know, but now I have a bunch of developers hitting me up as they see this. The more he's marketing, I'm about to approve the fourth one. So we got 3 in the pipeline right now. So I can see this, I can see the city of Houston being filled with courtyards. But what I want to highlight is it takes the first person to actually risk it, and that's Andre. So I want to make sure we highlight that, and obviously it's part of most of it. But again, when you guys drive around, y'all see all these developments and all these projects. I just was speaking to the planning director last week, and I had to explain to her this. Sometimes they don't understand that, because they're in a room creating rules and rules and rules and rules. But what they don't understand is somebody has to take the risk. And that risk is people's families, their livelihoods, and pretty much a lot of people risk their whole fortune or net worth on these projects. So again, just remember, when you see a developer, give them a hug and let them know that we appreciate what you're doing. And I'll close it there.
One, two, three. Here we go. You take a whole bunch of pictures, it ain't gonna matter. I broke the ground. All right. One of them gotta be good.
Yeah, this should be good.
So y'all, that is the groundbreaking for our Texas tiny home project. Look out, I got a shovel. Isn't that awesome? I got a shovel. I'm gonna put this in the truck. So be sure to subscribe and follow along. We'll be posting videos over the next several months as the construction on this project continues, and we'll let you guys, see the whole process, So make sure you stay tuned. If you are interested in doing courtyard projects in the city of Houston, please contact us. Go to our website, middlehousingdesign.com, and fill out the contact page. We look forward to working with you, and thank you for watching.